unless you pay the ransom, the attacker is not going to give you that key that unlocks your data. So your business comes to a dead stop almost immediately. My name is Jake North. I'm a product marketing manager for Dell Technologies in consumer and small business security. Small businesses, maybe 10 years ago, they were not such attractive targets because the tools and the technologies that attackers would use weren't so sophisticated. They weren't able to do so much. And I think there was a bit of an epidemic failure to really understand the value of the information that small businesses had. So there's a lot more damaging information or vital business operations data and relationships that are secured, and the methods that attackers can use have become more and more sophisticated, like keystroke loggers, and their ability to control systems remotely have improved exponentially from what they were a decade ago or 15 years ago. If you talk to your typical small business owner, they didn't get in the business to manage IT stuff. Their raison d'etre is to grow that business and be successful. Small business personnel in general just don't think they present a big enough target or an attractive enough target for a hacker to spend any time trying to infiltrate. So a lot of these small businesses undervalue what they do, and they also are in a fairly unprotected state because they don't have IT resources to manage it. They typically are pretty attractive targets. All of the information of value within a small business is in digital form and distributed everywhere. There are significant financial interactions in that web that surrounds every small business. And what a lot of small business owners may not recognize is that they actually put their customers and their employees at risk by not managing their security profile correctly. You can steal intellectual property, you can gather trade secrets, you can unravel customer relationships, and that customer data has value on the open market. So you may get payment information, but you may also get sensitive information on those customers or even on small business employees that enable you to attack them. So with one exploit, you have multiple targets that you could possibly cultivate. And so not only is the small business itself being damaged, but you could be spreading woe to all of your customers and people that you have valuable business relationships with. A lot of small businesses rely on bring your own device, and so those are not managed and may not have the kind of security controls where in an environment 10 years ago they were very locked down. And then at the same time, small businesses find that they outsource more services or more of their process. They may do payment processing through a third party, and that is sometimes handled through just a simple web login. Or they may have their data at rest in various cloud data centers. So there are more points of access for an attacker to use as a surface to latch onto. Ransomware is a class of malicious software that its primary function is to lock out users and encrypt the data and the access to the systems so that that data is no longer accessible or usable. And so in a ransomware attack, usually the malicious software is delivered usually through a phishing attempt or something along those lines. And once that software is resident and has had time to kind of snoop around and see where the data at rest is, it locks that down and encrypts that using some pretty sophisticated encryption that you cannot unlock on your own. And so unless you pay the ransom, the attacker is not going to give you that key that unlocks your data. So your business comes to a dead stop almost immediately. 60% of the small businesses that suffer this sort of a ransomware attack or a breach that significantly disrupts operations and causes customers to flee, a lot of these small businesses buckle under the cost and the impact of these breaches, and they go out of business within about 6 months. It is not just an expensive proposition, it can be an existential threat to a small business. There are a number of risks that are pervasive and scary to small businesses, and small businesses can spend a lot of time and a lot of money remediating those risks, but they do not have to. Our successful partnership with McAfee that goes back 2 decades now has been focused on simplifying and still providing top-tier protection to small businesses who are not focused on IT security as their mission statement. The McAfee small business product is really well thought out in terms of the onboarding process for a customer. So you install it on a PC, on an endpoint, and it walks you through exactly what you need to know. Hey, you should probably set up hard drive encryption, one of those things that's very effective in protecting data on an endpoint. You should probably set a policy that everybody in your organization does that. Okay, great. Next step is you have other employees within your business. You should probably have them install this same software. Would you like me to do that for you? That is something, again, that McAfee is very good at providing the advice and then helping you act on that to make sure it gets done, and then monitoring to make sure your employees are following those policies. If your employee does something that's risky, you get a notification that says, hey, this employee is not using VPN off-site, and that prevents some risk, and here's what the risk is. So the McAfee product is very good at guiding the small business owner through the first critical steps that get them set up with the highest impact security activities. And then once you've established that protection, which happens very quickly, you can get a very succinct report on a weekly basis that says, here's your risk profile. These are steps you can take to improve McAfee's security score. So if you're using VPN when not connected to a network, your security score goes up. That's very easily understood and recognized. If I do this, my score goes up, my risk goes down. And so providing a weekly report that says you're in a pretty good situation, or there are some risks that you could address, here's our recommendations. Would you like to click the button and let me remediate that for you? That's very attractive to a small business owner. Rather than spending hours going to provision and install security software from McAfee, you can buy a Dell PC with that pre-installed and ready to go. So the moment that system boots up, it's running McAfee Business Protection. The first thing a small business owner sees is, hey, you've got some risk, we can help you mitigate it. Take these 3 or 4 simple steps, leave it to McAfee to go manage the interactions with those other devices or those employees and do it for you. So the McAfee product is very good at guiding the small business owner through the first critical steps that get them set up with the highest impact security activities, and then educating them ongoing as their security posture changes, as they onboard new employees or new employees take different actions. Small business owners generally don't know the scale of the risks that they face. And so as a small business owner, it's important to provide some perspective to other small business owners of exactly what can go wrong, and to help them understand the scale of the risk, not necessarily that these are abstract concepts and things that happen to some other company and not me, but knowing that my small business is at risk, and there are a number of small businesses out there that I just haven't heard about. As a small business owner, it's important to evangelize on behalf of the security measures that they can take to make sure that their business has continued uptime, that they continue to have valuable customer relationships, and that they protect the data of their customers. So getting the word out is important to making sure that more owners in the SMB space know the risks and know that there are easy steps and easy tools that they can utilize to improve their security.